Welcome to Mage Rage, a fast-paced scavenger hunt with magic spells. The Spell Tome. When you enter the world, you'll be in a small box with a book on your hotbar. Page 1 neatly explains the challenge and how to complete it. Page 2 allows you to select a team. You should only do this if you're playing multiplayer and intend to play cooperatively or fight against each other in teams. Page 3 has 5 links. The first takes you to this video. The second turns on a function which will remind you to start recording every time you log into the world. The third takes you to my Patreon page if you want to support me and gain the Patreon reward. The fourth gives you a book and quill, in which you copy and paste the Patreon password to unlock your reward. It will also provide you a link to our Patreon posts page where you can get the password. And the fifth link will give you a new book from which you can choose 5 spells. Pick wisely, as you cannot change your spells once you have chosen them. As soon as you, or everyone in the multiplayer world, has picked their 5 spells, the challenge will begin. Rules. The aim of the game is to collect all 9 items and hold them in your inventory at the same time. There are 2 rules that you must abide by. Rule 1. Real mages don't sleep. There is a function to stop you building beds. But hey, where would be the fun in having all these magic spells if you didn't have anything to shoot them at? And anyway, keep inventory is on, so you have nothing to fear. Rule 2. Real mages don't cheat. This is meant to be a blind playthrough, so don't preview the world or watch other players' playthroughs before playing it yourself. And don't use commands or anything non-vanilla to give yourself an advantage. However, Batty's mod is still allowed and recommended as soon as it is released for 1.13 and beyond. The Crystal Ball. You will spawn with some crystal balls on your hotbar. Drop one on the floor to see which 9 items you need to collect. When you have one of the items in your inventory, an indicator will appear in your crystal ball to show you have collected it. You will also be given an item list book, in case you can't identify an item in the crystal ball. This book can also be used to summon a new wand, if you're a little careless with your current one. The Timer. There is a timer running invisibly in the background, which will display as soon as you finish the challenge, showing you how long you took. One thing it is important to take note of is that when you press escape to pause the world, the timer will not pause. So if you intend to pause or go AFK, it's probably best to disconnect from the world. Spells. A lot of time and effort has been put into these spells to make them effective and useful in different situations. They also have many abilities which work in synergy with, or can be used to counter, other spells. The first thing you need to know is that you scroll through your 5 spells by holding your sneak key with your wand in hand and dragging the mouse left or right. Your spells appear in the same order that you chose them at the beginning, from left to right, so think about which slots you want your spells to appear in. The action bar and particle effects will indicate which spell you have active. Right-click to cast a spell. Left-click to hit things with your knockback 5 wand. Cast a spell downwards to hit yourself with it. And remember, every spell has an individual cooldown, which you can see in the action bar. To begin with, I'll go through what each of the spells do. Then I'll talk about the interactions between the magic spells. The Revealing spell highlights any mob or player in a large radius. If you hit an entity with it, rather than a block, the radius will follow that entity around for the duration of the spell. The Water spell creates a block of water where it hits, or if you hit an entity, it will engulf it in water, which will disappear after a short while. The Lava spell creates a block of lava where it hits. If you directly hit an entity, the lava will disappear again instantly, just setting the mob or player on fire. The Slowness spell decreases movement and fall speed in a location. If you hit an entity, it will be slowed more intensely and will be blinded for a moment. The Levitation spell creates a small area of effect which lifts mobs and players into the air. Hit one directly to lift them even faster. The Pain spell damages entities in a small area. If you hit directly, it will lightly damage the entity and only trigger a 1-second cooldown. The Mining spell excavates a small area, dropping each of the blocks as if they were dug with a non-Silk Touch tool. Hit an entity to mine a slightly deeper area, dropping them into a pit. The Explosive spell goes boom after a short delay. If you hit an entity with it, the explosion will happen on them no matter how far they run. The blink spell allows you to teleport a short distance. If you blink into the air, you will not take fall damage when you land. The fire spell creates a small wall of fire up to 30 blocks away from you. The ice spell creates a small wall of ice up to 30 blocks away from you, or a platform under whichever entity you hit, including yourself, within the same distance. Now to take a look at the magical interactions. If you cast a water spell on yourself when you've been hit by an explosive spell, you will resist the damage. If you are levitating and cast a lava spell on yourself, you will be propelled in the direction you're looking for a few seconds. You will be protected from fall damage when this effect wears off. You can also do this to other entities. Because the slowness spell also slows your fall speed, you can use it to protect yourself or others from fall damage. The Pain spell synergizes with the fire and ice spells. Cast Pain through where the fire spell initiated, and if you hit someone it will also set them on fire. Cast it near an ice-spelled wall or platform and you'll create a short runway of snow. Whilst holding the ice spell in your wand, you will run much faster on snow. Whilst holding the Pain spell in your wand, if you are at 2 hearts or below, you will be given an extreme speed boost. Firing an explosive spell through a fire spell will create a short trail of fire before the explosive spell detonates. The blink spell's cooldown is 8 seconds, but it reduces by 4 seconds every time you use another spell. If you hit someone with a water spell, you can then cast an ice spell at the water to encase them in ice. Casting a fire spell at an ice-spelled wall or platform will immediately turn the ice to water. The selection of spells and interactions may grow over time, but for now you should find you have a decent arsenal to fight off mobs, or even other mages in multiplayer. Try out and practice with the different spells, see what interesting and cool things you can accomplish, and find out what works best for you. The Mage Rage maps will be released weekly, 4 per month. You can also stay updated with Mage Rage by following me on Twitter or by joining the Discord where you can chat with other players and post your videos. Good luck, have fun, and let out your spellcasting rage. Oh, also, pigs love mages. Bye.